Note the code as applied by number to the name would read as follows. 120 lay with Eve and had a son Cain. 121 begat a son, and there was no female. Two Adams, 120 and 121, with two different gods, 430 and 368. 430 is Elohim, 3068 is Jehovah. Both bloodlines clear and distinctly separate. Now, for the third and last Adam, Jesus and his bloodline, reconfirming, the book says that Seth was begotten by Adam, and Seth begat Enos. And then in another bloodline, which I just gave you, it said that Adam and Eve had a son named Cain and he had a wife. Those are two distinct, different bloodlines. Let's move on to the third bloodline. Jesus comes from the house of David, and the bloodline from David to Jesus is listed in two Gospels. The book lists all generations from Adam to Noah, then 10 sons to Genesis 5:1, from Noah to Abraham, from Abraham to David, and from the house of David is listed in two Gospels. Matthew 1:6-16 says David's son Solomon had 28 generations to Joseph, husband of the Virgin Mary. That's Matthew 1. Read it. David had a son named Solomon. They list 28 generations. David had Billy, and Billy had Joey, and Joey had Jimmy, and Jimmy, and so on, all the way down to Joseph, who's the husband of the Virgin Mary. And it all came from Solomon, the son of David. But Luke, that's Luke 3:23-31, that's a different book. It says David's son Nathan had 42 generations to Joseph, husband of Mary. Let me read it again. Matthew 1 says Solomon, the son of David, had 28 generations to the Virgin Mary in his bloodline. At least each dude, Jimmy, Joey, Billy, all the way down. But Luke says no, it came from David's son Nathan, and names all the people, every one of them. Two bloodlines leading to Jesus, just like two bloodlines from the first two Adams. The bloodline of Solomon to Joseph's husband of the Virgin Mary start with Jesus, the father of David, to Solomon. Start with Jesse, the father of David to Solomon. And Jesse begat David the king, and David the king begat Solomon of her that had been the wife of Urias. In 10 verses later, with Joseph, the husband of Mary, Matthew 1:16, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of the Virgin Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Now, that's Matthew. Now move over to Luke. Start with Joseph, the husband of Mary, and go backwards. Luke 3:23, and Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as supposed the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli, and with Nathan, the other son of David, which was the son of Miliah, which was the son of Menon. I use Jimmy and Joey and Billy because they're easier. Which was the son of Mattada, which is the son of Nathan. That's Luke and Matthew. There's your two bloodlines leading to two Marys and two babies. This sounds just like Genesis 2:1 when Elohim creation is listed and finished, and one verse later, Jehovah gives a totally different accounting. The bloodline of Cain, son of Adam, and Eve was totally different from the bloodline of Seth, who was begotten by a different Adam again. Go to the site, pull up the notes, print them out, look for yourself. Jehovah and Elohim, through their Adams down to David, say through two separate sons, Jesus comes from their bloodlines. But we forgot the biggest passage in the Bible. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, who is the last Adam. Either the Bible is a lie, or we have two babies, two Marys, leading to two men later called Jesus. And the last Adam, like the first, two made by an angelic. In other words, the last Adam, the third one, he's just like the first two. He's an Adam. He's made by an angelic. Today, the professor in the ungodly school system has run up trillions of dollars in student loan debt and referred to God as a myth. Instead, they teach our children a fellow who pooped in a hole and had no electricity named Darwin said we came from a big bang. Later, a pollywog crawled out of the ocean, and some became a rosebush, and others evolved to an ape, which evolved to a man. Come on now. An old parable says the pot that was made out of clay cannot tell the potter who made the pot that the potter did not make the pot. The parable is directed to those who deny the creation of God. One more time. If I made a piece of clay into a pot, the pot cannot say to me, hey JP, you didn't make me. I made the pot. Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not. Yeah, make sure you put your kids in a college that's going to charge you $50,000 a year to tell them they came from a pot or a pollywog. Something went wrong with Elohim's first creation. It is unknown how many thousands or millions of years had went by before Jehovah made the second Adam and a new race of people. The son of El was begotten without parents, said he would only speak in parables. Now this is the third and last Adam called Jesus. He said, I will only speak in parable, as the word says many would come and say that they are Jesus or had seen him. The entire Bible is full of riddles and parables. Jehovah even refers to himself as the potter who made a marred creation, so he made it again. I'm going to say it one more time. Jehovah refers to himself as a potter who took the first pot, said it's marred, got rid of it, and made another pot. That's called a parable. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again in another vessel as seemed good to the potter to make it. Jeremiah 18:4. Jeremiah 18:6. O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter? Now this is what Jehovah's saying to the poor people in Israel. Look, can I not do with you what I did with the pot, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. It's called conversion by fear. The religions of the world all refer to their God as the only God and how perfect he is. El never says he is perfect, as he created the entire mess when the war in heaven and 1/3 of creation was locked out. I'll say it again. There was a war in heaven. A big one. And people run around saying God is perfect. You go to church, oh, God is omnipotent, and he's this, and he's that, and he's perfect. Do you know how many times Jehovah said kill them all? Type it in, kill them all. 20, 30 times. Everybody's getting whacked, incest. These guys remaking everything. Here's the point. El never said he was perfect. Here's what he did. He won the war in heaven. He threw the angelics out. They made the earth. They created another mess, and here's what he said. I'm going to possess it. I'm going to fix it all. And in the biggest sacrifice in the universe, when the supreme deity left sky heaven and became part of creation, and Jesus is what makes Father El perfect today. He possessed the earth. He stopped the killing, incest, the pestilence, the floods, and made a deal. He said to the gods of the Old Testament, finish your testimony, and I will give mine in a New Testament when I will give my testimony. Let the people, this is what the supreme deity says, let the people decide what the outcome of the universe will be. I'm betting on them. Free will to know good and evil has made the human race the center of the universe. It was all made possible for El as Jesus to destroy the works of the devil and live by all the rules of the gods of the Old Testament. Do you believe science and educators of today that say that you came from a big bang and a pollywog? Or do you believe there was a war in heaven that led to creation, and the supreme deity comes in at the end as a man and fixes everything Thank you.